Now, the 1907 convention photo, that one was taken on the steps of the Treasury. John Micah told us later if we would have contacted him, he could have gotten us onto the steps of the Treasury, which was fenced off, to prevent terrorism. And Billy Bride was also the equivalent of Attorney General of the District of Columbia. So there was rumors that he was actually a spy. He'd go to Europe quite often. The 1954 convention is the one that removed the white clause from our Constitution. In 54, the University of Minnesota put out a dictate that any fraternity that had a white clause would have its recognition revoked at Minnesota. And so that convention was faced with losing the Minnesota convention if they left that white clause in there. So one suggestion was to put our white clause in the ritual, and the lawyers said that'd make our ritual discoverable and we couldn't have that. And then one of the lawyers, I think it was Harshman, suggested wording that if no chapter could pledge or initiate any individual which another chapter would be opposed to, which was a sneaky way of having a white clause. And they were asked from the convention floor, are you going to enforce that? They said yes. And so they took the white clause out and put that wording in, which I believe is still in our Constitution. I should check that. But in any case, they never enforced it to my knowledge. Sigma Chi didn't remove their white clause until 1966. Phi Delta somewhere in that range also. So that's it on that.
29.
29. The 29 convention was neat. We also have photos, like for 56, the banquet, and the 29 had the banquet room also. But in this photo, Chauncey W.W. Cook, I forget which one he is, who became CEO and chairman of the board at General Foods, is in this photo. There's Billy Bride. There's George Aubert. I said I was looking, I spent one night at the Stanley, and I asked them if they had the guest register for April, I think it's April of 29. And they said, oh, it's packed away during our renovations. Maybe it's out now. And I said, George said, well, you'd find all the bigwigs in the guest register. He said, poor people like me, one of my chapter brothers' family had a cabin in Rocky Mountain National Park, and I stayed with them, and others stayed elsewhere to save money. But it was really cheap, something like $4 including meals, crazy stuff like that. But that's a lot of money to a college student at that time. There's OK Patton. I'm often asked, why are the boys blurred, that one guy especially? Well, they moved. They're boys. And there's Pudge, Albert Towsley, who was Patton's assistant. And that's Cecil Durrell, who was DD and absconded with $35,000 of our endowment fund. And they managed to get it back. There's Henry McGurran. Well, the names are all on the back. And it says, taken in a mountain shower. I've scanned this in at high resolution and blown it up, and you see rain spots all over the coast. Kind of neat. There's Marsh White. So Marsh and George at their first convention. Secretary of Labor George Cortelyou is the mustache guy right there. He arranged a reception at the White House with Teddy Roosevelt. And Teddy Roosevelt came in and spent 15 seconds with each delegate. Doesn't sound like much, but clock 15 seconds for a group, one each. That's pretty impressive. And he declared he was proud to be a Delta Chi, which surprised him because he wasn't. He was a member of Phi Delta Phi. And he caught his mistake and so on. Afterwards, A. Frank John, the sharp guy on the end, would stand on chairs and do Teddy Roosevelt imitations. It's too good not to be true. Proudly proclaiming he's proud to be a Delta Chi. That's what I bet he did. But I don't know. I just know he did Teddy Roosevelt imitations. Okay.